Hello and welcome to my channel In Search of Wonder. My name is Anne and today I'm going to do the Jane Austen tag. This tag was created by Morgan at Morgan's Endless Bookshelf, and she tagged me and so did Charlene, a coffee and a book, and so I figured it was high time to do this tag. So let's get right into it. This tag is based off of all of Jane Austen's novels, and so there's a theme for each one and a prompt, and you are supposed to choose a book that goes with that theme. Our first one is Sense and Sensibility, and the prompt is a book about a family. And I chose A Tangled Web by Lucy Maud Montgomery, which is one of her lesser known books. It's a standalone novel, and it follows the two families that are very intertwined. The Penhallow family, I know, is one of them, and the other family is the Dark family, or so it starts with a D, and it's a short word. Anyway, there's these two family branches, and all of the characters in the book are related by blood or by marriage to these families. They're really like tribes, and it's all about their interfamily relationships and the ways that they stick up for family and the ways that they fight amongst themselves, and just the interactions among the wider spread of families. So not family like a nucleus family with mother, father, children, but a family of a large group of people who are related by blood or by marriage, and those interactions. So a little bit of a different twist on that idea of family, but certainly very interesting. Actually, I feel like that's a common theme in Lucy Maud Montgomery's books. She likes to play around with this concept of family loyalty and family name and family culture, and explore that quite a bit. Next is Pride and Prejudice, a book that deserved the hype. I don't read a lot of hyped books, so I actually had a bit of a hard time coming up with this one. But one book that I did read within the past year that was newer and definitely hyped was The Frozen River by Ariel Lawhon. And I definitely enjoyed it very much. I ended up giving it 4 stars. It wasn't a full 5-star amazing read for me, but I wasn't disappointed by the experience either. There were some aspects of the story that I didn't love, or of the storytelling that I didn't love, but overall it was an engrossing read. It kept me reading, and I can see why many people love it. There wasn't anything about it that was like, oh, this is a terrible book, I hate it. I don't understand why people love it. So I think it's worth the hype. And if you're interested in historical fiction that is based on true stories, particularly stories that there is still a little bit of mystery, that, you know, time has not revealed or uncovered any more truth than there was in the beginning when it happened, I always enjoy stories like that, where there's, you know, just this element of an unsolved mystery and a story that kind of tries to explore the possibilities. Very intriguing. So that one deserves the hype. And then we have Mansfield Park, and the prompt is an introverted main character. So Charlene said Cecilia, and that was a perfect answer. We just read that in February. It is by Burney. And Cecilia is a very introverted character. Not so much so that, you know, she's not like a recluse or anything. Sorry, my air fryer is making noises. But also she's not, she's definitely not extroverted, and she much prefers to stay at home or be in a small circle of close friends. She chooses her friends carefully, and she would much rather just be spending one-on-one time with a close friend than out at parties. She strongly disliked parties or being out and about, and it exhausted her to be constantly out in public and interacting with the public at large on a regular basis. She hated that life. She wanted a quiet life at home with visits to close friends. And I feel like that's the very definition of an introverted person. So that one definitely fits. A close runner-up for me would be Ethan Frome. Now, Ethan Frome is more of like withdrawn, sort of introverted. He just doesn't mingle with people hardly at all, except for his own immediate family in his house. Part of that's personality, part of that's circumstances, part of that's choice. But definitely he's an introverted, taciturn kind of character who does not intermingle or converse with the public at large or go out in public very much at all, except as absolutely necessary. Then we have Emma, and the prompt is the best male character. And so I chose the Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon by Beth Brower, I think her last name is. And I chose that because she has not just one male character in there that's a great male character, but she has multiple male characters in these stories. It's like Emma M. Lyon is the central character in the story, but satellites revolving around her are mostly male, and not entirely. There are some other female characters as well that in her close circle, but there are quite a few male characters, and they're all so interesting. They're all so uniquely drawn. They're all a bit of an enigma. Some of them are annoying. Some of them are intriguing. Some of them are funny. Some of them make you roll your eyes. Some of them make you want to know more about them. And there's one in particular that is just such an intriguing, but like a kind and good person, but also you sense that he has been tempered by a lot of trials, and there's a lot of depth to him. There are a lot of unplumbed depths that I haven't gotten to at the point in the story that I have read thus far. And I'm curious to know what all he knows, what he's seen, what he's been through to make him who he is. And then for Northanger Abbey, we have a bookish main character. And I picked A Doctor's Wife by Mary Elizabeth Braddon, which I read last year for Victober. And I forget her name, but the main female character in that story is definitely very bookish. Now, she's the kind of book, not bookish, like blue stocking kind of bookish, like intellectually bookish, but like daydreamy kind of bookish, more like Anne of Green Gables, but Anne of Green Gables if Marilla wasn't there to give her some good old common sense and, put some boundaries there for Anne's rampant imagination. This girl allows her imagination to run away with her. She's a very much head in the clouds, very much reading these stories and romances and fiction and imagining life like that, and imagining some people in her life to be like characters from the stories that she's read, much to her detriment, and leading to some poor choices on her part. So that she is definitely a bookish main character, if not a studious sort of bookish. Then we have Persuasion, a second chance romance. And I chose The Words We Lost by Nicole Deese, which I have read within the past year as well. It's the second book in a series, and it is a very well done second chance romance. Honestly, the romance it's not really a romance. It's a story, it delves into a lot of grief, and it delves into broken relationships and broken trust and the healing process that the main character goes through as she comes to terms with things that happen to her in her teenage and early adult years that she's kind of just pushed to the back burner, but she's forced to confront them at the time we meet her in this story. And then as part of that exploration, we meet a male main character who was all tied up in her experiences then at that time. And so then there's a second chance romance that develops there. Although it's not primarily a romance, it does have that thread running through it. Then Lady Susan, an unlikable main character. And the one I picked was Bridge to Haven by Francine Rivers, which is, and this is the only one on this list that I have an actual physical copy of. So I didn't bother to pull it out. The rest I've either unhauled or borrowed from the library or had on my Kindle. So anyway, Bridge to Haven by Francine Rivers is similar to her book Redeeming Love, if you're familiar with that one, and that you have a main female character who is very stubborn, very resistant to the people in her life who love her and want the best for her. And she is consistently pursuing her own way. And you can see as the reader that she is stubbornly going after her own destruction and just seems to be like pursuing it and chasing it. And you want to say, stop, but she won't listen to anybody in the story. And it's very frustrating. But at the same time, Francine Rivers writes it in such a way that you want her to succeed. You want her to overcome these challenges in her life. You want her to reach the place where she is broken and willing to set aside her foolish desires and to see that the people who love her, and the God who made her, like their ideas are better for her than her own ideas, that she was so selfishly and foolishly pursuing to her own detriment. And she goes through a lot in the story. She goes through a lot before she finally comes like full circle. And then there's, you know, a lot of healing that happens. So yeah, definitely a frustrating main character. And then finally we have Sanditon and The Watsons, a book with an unsatisfactory ending. And the one I picked was The Road by Cormac McCarthy, which is not really a book that I recommend per se. You have to be in a certain mood to read that one and to enjoy it. It was fast-paced and descriptive and well-written in a unique sort of way, with a unique style of narrative and a unique approach to the storytelling. But the ending was very unsatisfactory because it leaves the reader open to conjecture as far as which way the ending was intended to go. Like, you could read it one way as hopeful, and you could read it in one way as the opposite, devastating. It's up to you to decide as the reader how you choose to interpret that ending. And I sort of feel like either way isn't a good ending, because one way is just horribly disappointing, because you read through the whole story and then you come to the end and it's just devastating, and there's never any hope and there's never any encouragement or life. But if you read it, the ending, as being hopeful, at least there's that. At least there's a hopeful ending. But it seems awfully convenient and very contrived. So it seems to be poor writing in that way, which makes you feel like, well, then it's not a happy ending. So yeah, I didn't love the ending. And yeah, the whole bleak aspect of the book, I wasn't a big fan of personally. So those are my picks for the Jane Austen book tag. As far as who to tag, I'm not sure yet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to first spin the wheel to find someone to shout out, and I will tag that person, whoever that is. And then also I will look through my list of channels that I'm subscribed to and see if I can find someone who haven't done this tag yet, who might be interested in doing it. And I will put their names in the description box and give them a shout out as well. So that is the Jane Austen tag. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to do this tag, go ahead and do it. It's a lot of fun, of course. Anything Jane Austen is fun in my book. So I will see you next time. Bye. Okay, and here we are with a wheel of names, and we are going to choose someone to shout out and tag at the same time. Here we go. Yay! It's Bookish Kelly. Please sure to go and subscribe to her. Although I think, did you do this one already? Kelly, you may have already done this tag. I can't remember, but if not, consider yourself tagged if you want to do this one. And look in the description box, everyone, below for links to some other channels that I'm going to tag for this tag as well. A lot of tagging going on. And I will see you all next time. Bye-bye now.